righty, episode 325. Most roofing companies are about to get left behind and don't even know it. We have a kind of a belief system that either we're going to push you up or we're going to push you out. I don't want to be around 5 other people that aren't pushing themselves to succeed. Success isn't about taking, but giving value first. Compensation follows contribution always. This is true authenticity. It's the truth. Every week, this is our story. We share with you our journey. We share with you our scars.
Please welcome your host, Cobb Backer.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Behind the ToolBelt, the podcast where we don't just talk about the trades. We talk about the people who are actually building them, and I am your host, Cobb Backer, and this is episode 325, unbelievably. And today's episode, I think, might challenge a couple people about the way they think about their business. We got Mr. Tim Brown, founder of Hook Agency, and one, if not the best, digital marketing companies working with us tradesmen. And Tim didn't just stay on the sidelines. Tim, he went all in and launched his own roofing company here. And we want to talk to him a little bit about that and what tricks and trades and all those good things that he's doing to help promote his newfound business and find out why in the hell he would do something so crazy like that, because we all know the roofing industry isn't good or easy. Say it is good. It's very good. I love the freaking industry. But it's not easy. It's given me everything I got today. But welcome back to Behind the ToolBelt.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure. I always learn from you as much as I get to share too. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man. And I've learned so much from you. I think where we've really connected, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and we've talked about this before in the past. And we connected. I felt like we really connected on the Exhale retreat with Erico. And I found it very interesting, the questions that you were asking me, because you knew what questions you wanted to ask, and they were very, very, very good questions. And I actually watched you apply most of them into your business and stuff. And a lot of times I'll have people ask me questions and I never see them apply it, you know, the way that you did. I mean, you were taking notes and you were very intuitive on making sure you fully understood what it was that I was trying to explain to you, how we did certain things. And of course, you know, as well as I do, I'm an open book. Anything anybody wants to know at any time. I've had local contractors reach out to me and ask me how we do things, and I'm okay with it. I feel like when, you know, tides rise, all ships rise at high tide, kind of thing. But anyhow, I know that you nerd out on marketing and brand and AI and stuff like that. So I think why I got you captive today for at least the next 30-40 minutes here. I want to dive right into AI, because it's here. Right. It's not coming. It's here. And I want to hear from you, like from where you sit on the side that, you know, where you sit, where do you see like the biggest shift happening in our space, in the roofing space?
It's wild, bro. Like what's happening right now. I think we were all just kind of like a little scared and preparing the last few years. I think like digital marketing obviously is hit almost like in a way, and or we can go faster. There's two feelings, right? There's like, we can go so much faster with this work. Maybe we were doing 2 times the amount of work with ChatGPT and the basic stuff, and now you've got things like Claude Cowork and OpenClaw, where it's essentially like clicking around on the computer for you, doing something. And I think like the beauty of that, there's a lot of fear around that too. Like with anybody who's clicking around on a computer for a job, there's some fear, as I think you should definitely have. And then on the positive side, it's like, if you're strategic and you have other skills besides just clicking on a computer, you're like good at business numbers, like the overarching ideas, how to wield these tools to go faster. Maybe you can get 10 times done, not just 2 times, because man, it is wild. I mean, just somebody like if you're a CEO out there, use Claude Cowork for a day. Like it's the ability for it to do work for you on your behalf is kind of enormous. Now you still need to know where to, hammer the nail. You need to know where to hit. But I mean, it's doing work for me right now off to the side, over here, like at this exact moment, so, and there's so many jobs, right? Like you think about like, supplementing, you think about like anything that was like estimating, like things that are like a little simpler, you could kind of train it to do things that are happening. And it's a little uncomfortable, I think, in my other business with Hook Agency, which I still have, by the way. And some people ask me that. Yes, I love this business. It's good. It's growing. It's getting better every day. It's getting more done with less people. And that is scary for jobs and things like that. That is a real thing. And then in a newer business, I think it's harder to reinvent yourself when you've had a business for a long time. But as a newer business, what I'm saying is like to my team here at Owl, it's like 5 or 6 of us right now. I'm saying we want to be AI first, meaning what does that mean? It means let's try it with AI before we hire somebody for that. Do you know what I'm saying? So if it's a co-working thing, and then in addition to, let's say we try supplementing with AI or whatever. In addition to that, there's also tools out there. You know what I mean? So somebody's already nailed this too. Like I'm talking to my boy, Max Rosenblum over at he's Supplement Experts. He's got Adjust at AI or whatever that he's launching in the next 3 weeks. And he's kind of like trained it on all of the supplements that he's ever done for all these different companies. And he's essentially training it to do it for you. So it's going to be cheaper than if he had all the people do it, but he's spent 6 to 9 months doing that. And just so you know, this isn't a commercial on that. It's like also, hey, maybe there's a chance that all these softwares go away. Realistically, dude, software, this is another thing. I'll kind of like wrap up this portion with this is like software. You can build it so much faster now with Claude Code and these things too. So they call it junk software right now, just like they call the AI slop for content. But then at a certain point, when does it no longer AI slop and when is it better than the human did it? And it's like, I think the only thing, because it's all ugly in a way, and I don't know if I love AI. I like sometimes hate it. But at the same time, as a business owner, it kind of has to be like, I'm just not closing my mind entirely. Because the last iteration 1 year ago is not what it is now. And so it's like kind of it's like strong opinions lightly held. Yeah, I don't think you should be publishing just no human edit content at this exact moment. But I'm not going to say no, never, because that's very quickly happening where maybe we even get more iterations in on the content with the help of AI. Maybe it's doing more research than our people were doing, so it's kind of like keep your mind open. And then it's also being fearless a little bit, like, because it does suck to say some of the stuff out loud when there's like an employee listening that's doing that job currently. And it's like it hurts to say, but it's like ultimately as a CEO, you kind of got to be competitive. And if other people are decreasing their costs significantly with this stuff, it's tough. We have, and I would last sentence. If I was to encourage employees, it would be to get really strategic and try using these tools so they can go faster and be the one that doesn't get replaced because they know how to wield the tools.
Good input. That's gold right there. That is gold. And thank you for sharing that. And hopefully anybody out there listening, not just the owners, but in, team members and employees, that's definitely a good one. Where would you say AI is going to hit roofing companies the hardest? Like, where are people going to feel it first?
I hope you feel it in your bottom line in a positive way. I like to think of it as like we're growing and we can grow the head count a little slower with the help of this. Like we can get more done with less people. So hopefully it hits you in a positive way. Software bloat is a thing. Like I think about like, because like we're super in the industry and people are like throwing stuff at us. So they're like, use this software, use that. Like we'll give it to you for free. Just tell people and like, yeah, but I can't use any more softwares. We've got our 7 or whatever. And like, I don't want to make my team try to use any more than we're currently using. So you got a CRM, you got Company Cam, maybe you got like some other really good ones like Project Map It or, Roofable or whatever, right?
But it's aerial measurement tools. Yeah.
At a certain point, you got to stop layering on new software. So there's also that. I'm conscious of that, but it's like for yourself as a CEO or somebody like, I don't know. I think that people should, I kind of think of like the AI tools like Claude, and Claude I think is the best one at the moment, but it's like Claude and maybe even like, ChatGPT and Gemini as like, those are kind of separate from software. It's kind of like, they're super cheap too. So it's like, I think people should be experimenting with them. I remember Gary Vee saying like 10,000 hours. A CEO should at least spend 10,000 hours experiment, or maybe he said 1,000, but it was, like over the last 5 years or something, I probably spent that amount with AI. And it's like, you got to get better and better with it. I mean, I'm not the only one preaching this, and I'm also uncomfortable, and I have to get more comfortable with how fast things are changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
I don't think it's going to negatively impact roofing companies. I think it might negatively impact software companies and marketing companies. And then when the actual robots come, then roofing might change, but I think that's a ways away.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I think those that are using it, it's going to impact them positively, and those that aren't using it, I think it's going to impact them negatively.
Yes. If you're not, because it's competitive. Like you could go faster, quicker. I'm feeling like I can go faster, quicker on a bunch of stuff because I'm going hard on AI. And I do think people in my area who are not using these tools are going to go much slower. And I would recommend anyone that I'm talking to like be like, all right, go look at these. Like it's basically like capabilities testing for a CEO.
Yeah.
Or anyone really, like capability, like what is it capable of and not capable of? And then like people that haven't tried it are like, could it do this? And you're like, well, no, it doesn't. It's not magic. It's just like start to get on, like try some stuff with it so that in a month or two, when you have a good idea for what it could do, like then you know what it's capable of, and you're not like, it's not magical thinking.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So break it down real simple.
Yeah.
If I'm a contractor and I'm overwhelmed, I'm one of those guys that wasn't like an early adopter.
Sure.
What are like the first 2 or 3 things I should start doing with AI immediately?
So I guess Claude Cowork is so new to me. It'd be hard to like make recommendations there. I literally this week got really into it, and I like, it's the first time in a second that I've had my mind blown by AI. Like the first few times you use ChatGPT, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like that's how I started to feel, because essentially it was doing work for me. I don't know. The first, I'll just say where I'm like imagining we might use it for, estimating and supplementing. We might use it for organizing projects or busy work. Like I'm imagining potentially financial. It sounds crazy because you're like letting a computer do it, but like you think about QuickBooks stuff. You know what I mean? The ability to have it work on and pull reports. I don't think that like pulling reports and insights is like really I feel like that's like been the first layer of AI, was a little bit more like we're looking at it for insights and then we do all the work. And then it's like, I'm more tired than I was before AI. I feel like where it's going now is like, it's going to actually take work off people's plates. Cause like, it's basically like Claude Cowork is basically like, AI using AI for you versus like, you're sitting around clicking on AI. I did more work sitting over there in AI than I did, So I
Yeah.
think that this is like that next generation where it's kind of like doing tasks, and you can schedule recurring tasks really easily in it and then have it. So it's probably the first layer feels a little bit like the first time you'll use it, it'll like feel like a kind of a VA.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give it access to stuff. You have to give it like logins. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've ever had a VA in another country or something like
Oh, yeah.
that, like it's similar to that, but like potentially, like even my VA, and I love, hey, what's up? Appreciate you, Blanca. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's awesome, but like I have to encourage her to use the AI tools. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, so go use this tool. Like we've made custom GPTs in the past to like ask questions to that instead of to me.
Mhm.
And then this thing is just an AI native kind of running around and doing busy work for. But anything, this is the truth. It's like, just talked to my trainer about it this morning, and he was one of those people that's like, could it do this and make up the workout for me? I'm like, no, it's not creative in that way. It's not going to like know your client in that way.
Mhm.
But anything that you can turn into a reproducible process on a computer, and sometimes it's a matter of our imagination.
Mhm.
So in my experience previously, I was using one of those screen recorder apps, Loom,
Yeah.
to do my processes, right? I'm doing everything that I would normally do to click around on the screen, go to this website, go to that website, do this. In digital marketing, it's a little bit more obvious. Like you're finding an image here, you're doing this, you're doing a little graphic design, etc., whatever. And anything that you can kind of do in a Loom on a
Mm.
computer and it's turned into a process, it's that's the type of stuff that maybe this will do for you now. If you've had a hard time, I mean, that's the first layer, right? Ty, is like
Yeah.
learning how to turn things into processes that are
Yeah.
reproducible by a human. And sometimes, no offense, but by a lower level, lower paid human. Like, you know what I mean? Like where they could reproduce it and it will be 80% as good as you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And learning how to do that is the first layer. And then essentially, this is just like, all right, now I can just take those and have this do that type of stuff.
Mhm.
So I'd say like basically like the first layer is people are going to feel like it's kind of like a VA that's just doing reproducible computer tasks for you. But the long-term effect, and I'm going to say a crazy, like I think this is real. I think anything that's like on a computer job, based on what I've seen in the next 10 years,
Could
I think that's going low, bro. Like I think like there's going to be 20% of those jobs
are
left.
going to be replaced. Yeah.
Yeah,
By.
which is scary for the economy if you think about it. Like, and I don't. It's hard because you're like also like weighing, is this good?
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
this good? Like, I believe that right now. I'm not saying everyone. I want everyone else to believe that. I think it's probably good if we all pretend like they're going to be around for a little while, for a
Yeah.
second. But like, what does that mean? Like, if only 20% of the desktop jobs like compete, because there's a lot of those jobs.
Mhm.
It has
Yeah.
implication. It does have implications, but in the meantime, it's like get strategic with the tools and be a person that's capable of utilizing those tools so you're 10 times more productive instead of waiting for it to clobber you, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I was thinking about this the other day, it's like the dot-com boom, or, we used to advertise in the yellow book, and this was pre, websites and things like that, where you could go online and search roofer near me. So we would advertise. Most of it was just like hard copy stuff, like, billboards, truck wraps, yard signs, door hangers, word of mouth. Yellow book is where you went to search a roofer near me. And we've been in business long enough to see that transition. Okay. Where I remember the lady from Yellow Book came and approached me about creating a domain. And I was like,
Mhm.
what's a domain? Like, what is that? We don't know what this is. And so we created our first website. And back then you had to pay pay. I can't quite remember, but we couldn't literally use roofing in our name because every time somebody clicked or searched roofing, like it would charge us like $12. It was something ridiculous. Like roofing was like $12, siding was like 8, windows was like 6, and gutters was the least expensive keyword that we had to choose. That we got to choose from. So our website domain was 321 Gutter Done, and because I wanted just straight up Gutter Done, but somebody out in California had already had that domain, and so we did that. And a lot of people don't even realize that, because a lot of people are like, well, why don't you have roofing in your name? And it's like, well, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it back then. So things are way different now. But anyhow, if I wouldn't have been an early adopter of that, and this is the same thing. If you're not going to become an early adopter, and when you were talking about VAs, I think if you're not using AI or have a VA in some way, shape, or form, whether it's just a personal assistant or checking pricing on invoices or whatever, doing the crap work that most people don't want to do, whatever, at any scale, I think you're going to be left behind. VA and AI. And when you were talking, the one thing that I didn't hear you bring up when you were talking about AI and when it comes to marketing, how or are you using AI to create brand awareness in any way, shape, or form? Do you understand what I mean when I say that?
Yeah. Right
Can you
now, so
how
I'm
you use it? Go
I'm
ahead.
totally there's some new tools that I'm like, so already with our agency, we're essentially using, this is like pre-Claude co-work. So I'm starting to like, but we were using things to like queue up the posts, like essentially get the first draft done, and then we modify it, like so on and so forth. So you have writers that are doing a little less because they're capable, and like having like automations even to get the first drafts, and then the humans layer on the special sauce touch, with the but you can do a lot of that type of thing. So if I can go faster with content, so I mean, obviously my secret sauce has been content. It's who knows how long this is going to be, because like, okay, video content and written content, right? Who knows how long this is going to be, because if the machine can make legitimate, useful content, what I'm doing at this exact moment, which is like I don't know, cutting edge for me, and like is essentially like today, right now as we speak, Claude Cowork is making lists for me on our website, our Owl Roofing website, of I'm letting it handle kind of like lower intent, meaning less intent to purchase lists for restaurants, coffee, and other types of home services in our area. So it's literally all of our main cities. It's making those lists so that homeowners in that area will like find our list, and it's doing the research, it's curating images, and then it's actually like uploading it to WordPress.
Wow. That's
And
cool.
it's like, so, and I'm curious like how this plays out, because I like, obviously that will allow us to be more efficient and allow people to do some of this themselves more easily. But like at a certain point, you just got to be the person learning, because if that's gonna go faster than humans, then I mean, my job at that point would just be to like, all right, we're able to get 10 times more done, but we still have the strategy for how to do things the right way, right? I would say that's a low percentage of our current strategy right now, like doing the like random other lists. But in a way, if you can scale up content at like a 10 times, like if I can do 10 times more content, I might do more kind of higher funnel content. And like, and part of me is like, I'm thinking of these like referral partners. Like because then we could also reach out and be like, hey, we made this list and we included you as a plumber on here. Would you consider like referring us as a roofer? So that's, I mean, my first, everything looks like a nail to a hammer, right? So my first thing is like content. I'm thinking about how could I scale content up at like an enormous rate. There is something there where it's like, okay, now I'm going to need to do some extra layer stuff because there's kinks to work out with it. And I'm not just saying that because that's my job. I like, it's probably if I shoveled this out forever and I didn't like modify it with as a human, like it might get a little redundant or sloppy or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's my like as a hammer, that's my nail. So I'm just like excited. I'm excited, but also scared about that. I think it's just two feelings and I think whatever your job is, you should have two feelings: fear and excitement, because A, I can do 10 times more, and B, let me just stay involved. And how can I add value? And how can I make this better than if it was just a machine? Because we're still in competition with each other. If you think about like all the roofing companies in my area, if they all did this and I did this, we're still in competition. Who can make it a little better than the machine made it on its own? Who can use the machine better, right? Yeah. I mean, you do gutters, I'm sure that there's guys that aren't as good with the gutter machine as you guys are. So like, there's always a little bit of an element of like, what kind of special touches can I do with this tool to make it a little bit better than my competition who also has this tool? I think I always said that with ChatGPT, it's like, we're all on steroids. It's like, if content marketers are now all on steroids, it's like, also, this is just that next layer of the steroids, but we all have it and everyone will be using it in the next 6 months. So,
well, and like you said, you feel like you're working harder now using it. And that's
weird.
Who's willing to put in the work, really, is at the end of the day, who's willing to learn how to use it, especially as fast as it's moving right now. And I think those that stay out in front of it and kind of geek out and carve out enough time, or hire people that are familiar with it already, that are, it's their full-time job is to get better and better and better as it gets better.
You can, I think one thing on the hiring side is you can hire somebody that has an adjacent skill set and be like, you're an AI guy now. Or gal. Like, you don't have, because if they say they have 5 years of, automation AI experience with Claude, OpenClaw, and like, that'd be a lie, because no one does. Right. So it's like, if you get somebody who's deeply interested in that and just say, this is your full-time job, that might be a worthwhile move right now. I mean, so we just hired our third full-time AI focused employee with all this stuff. And we're starting to get like kind of dedicated computers for OpenClaw and things like that. I think it's just, you gotta, like, I don't know. I just think it'd be smart. Honestly, I think it'd be smart for everybody. God, this is like what I'm doing. So you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to say everyone should do it. What I'm doing now is I'm getting a computer in both of my businesses that is dedicated to OpenClaw, and I am experimenting personally, vigorously with Claude Cowork. And I have 3 full-time employees that are focused on AI. And as soon as I can, I'm not being an idiot about OWL and overhead, but like, I will probably start to have somebody focused on that. As soon as I can. It's like 6 people. So no, I'm not going to do that out the gate. But like, as I pass 10, I'm probably going to be like looking at that, and I'm trying to apply things. But otherwise, it's me. If you're under 10, it's you. You know what I mean? You're the AI expert, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No, we've used it, and we've been using it for a while now, from anywhere from blog post writing and helping us turn out content quicker. We go out in the field and we're recording the job, or, we're doing an interview with a homeowner or anything like that. Like, it's helping us clean up our content quicker, where it would take much longer. So it's definitely sped up the process. Plus, it's also helped us alleviate hiring, or outsourcing, to somebody else or to a VA to clean up our stuff, and it comes back and it's not right anyhow. So if and when, if you can, like, we're fortunate enough, Vic, he nerds out on AI all day, every day, and he's gotten pretty good with it. It's helped him immensely churn out even these reels that you'll see after our live here. Like, within minutes, he'll have content posted. And we, a year ago, it wasn't as good, and plus as seasoned as he is now, and knowing how to prompt it and do everything that he knows how to do with it to make it faster. And it's learning him too, at the same time as he's growing, it's growing, and they're learning together and stuff like that. But it's good. So But I think if you're not doing that and at least have a VA, I think you're gonna fall behind. But
Yeah.
you've been inside a lot of roofing companies,
Yeah.
and the honest truth, why do some scale and others stay stuck?
Mm.
From your opinion, on the
I
marketing side,
love that
I would
question.
imagine.
I love that question. I think that we all have most people that start a business have like this industrial strengths kind of like drive
Mhm.
more than your usual person. Otherwise, it's like kind of a wild idea to just be like, all right, let's start a new enterprise.
Mhm.
Like we're all like usually pretty driven. And
Mhm.
I think what I see a lot is people go, that's pretty good. I got to 3 million, I got to 5 million. That's pretty good. Some people go, I got to 1 million, dude. And I like that feeds my family.
Mhm.
And I got a couple people helping, but it's like, we're good. You know what I mean? It's fine. I think it's just at what level you think it's fine. And some of us are so sick, Ty, you and me, where we
Yeah.
just keep on going. We go, it's never enough. And
Yeah.
I'm fully, so I think it's just kind of a little bit of like, just to be silly today, I think it's a little bit of a sickness,
Mhm.
that we're just never satisfied. But I think that it's like, part of it is you're playing a game. I think that I study the people that are winning and stay winning. And I think that it's because they've made it into a game in their head. Once they have enough money personally, they think they're looking at the scoreboard. They're looking at like, how could I drive this up? How could I'm competing with myself. I'm like, I don't need more money, but I have something in me that I want significance and I'm interested in winning. And it's a little bit of pride, but it's also a little like, I do think some of it's sick, actually. I think some of it's sick is what I really think. But
Mhm.
it's fun. You know what I mean? It's fun sick. I mean, like there's an element of me that's like, I don't think I'm gonna get to a spot in my entrepreneurial career where I'm like, yeah, I made it. It is fun if somebody thinks you made it. Like every once in a while, somebody's like, oh wow, you did pretty good. That's fun, but it's not how I really feel. I mean, if I'm honest, I do think that is, something I need to work on. The people that don't, yeah, I think that they just get satisfied. I think people get satisfied and they don't keep going with that industrial strength ambition. They say, that's good. I'm pretty cool and I'm good. And I think that like on the positive side, the way I've flipped that is like, yes, but how many people can you help? You know what I mean? On the positive side, it's like, how many, they still have to earn their keep and do great work for the customer, et cetera, but how many people's families can I feed? And then also like, how many people's roofs can I put on? Or how many people's businesses can I help gain 1 million or two, like in the case of my agency. So it's like, I think they turn it into a game. The people that win turn it into a game, and the people that don't like kind of get satisfied and don't think of. I think that there is a little bit of like, how many people can you help is what partly drives those other people. And if they really want to grow and they can't, you know what I'm saying? Like they got stuck. Like they want to grow technically, but they got stuck. I think it's a matter of energy and people, right? Like you didn't get the right people, obviously. Alex Hermosi says, you think you worked harder than you did.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some people go like, no, I'm tired. I worked 80-hour weeks. It's like, well, sometimes it's not you work an extra 20 hours. Sometimes you go back to the drawing board, you rest, maybe you learn to meditate or something,
Right.
and you go, who do I need and how do I become the type of person that attracts that person in
Yeah.
our business? Like, because obviously I haven't attracted the right people and obviously I haven't worked hard enough. And that hurts the first time you hear it, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's helpful. It's an actual useful idea, because if I haven't worked hard enough and I haven't attracted the type of people, then I'm stuck for a while. And I have to like go back and get better. I think it's
Mhm.
partly, dude, last sentence on this
Mhm.
is we cut ourselves off. I'll say it in first person so it's not mean. We cut ourselves off from the necessary feedback that will actually make our business better, because it
Mhm.
hurts to hear.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? No, and I think everything that you had mentioned is accurate, and it falls back on them. It's them. It's why they get stuck. And they want to blame it on, economics. They want to blame it on other people and things like that. And it's like, and I think a lot of times we get as business owners, and I've struggled with this where I get comfortable and I get complacent and growth stops. But I always remember back. So when I first got in business, it was always about me and me trying to make ends meet for me, 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 me. And about 4 years into it, it took me 4 years to realize that this was way bigger than me. This is about the people that we had brought into the company and how we need to focus on them and make sure that they are taken care of. And when that mind shift happened, and that's where we put everybody from 1099 to W-2. And I thought that was pretty special because it might not sound like a big deal, but they had unemployment if anything went wrong. And if anybody got hurt, we had workers' compensation, which planted a seed for me. Like, how cool would it be if we could offer health insurance here? So right away, like I said, my mind shifted over to, okay, this is much bigger than me. It's about them. So we worked hard and we offered health insurance like a year or two later, and then retirement, so on and so forth. And you mentioned it. It's like now it's about how many lives can I impact? And that's what I really get thrilled about is like not just even now, everybody thinks that same way here, right? Like I'm working, I'm really good at my job. So this person next to me continues to keep having a job. My sales are so great that our production team gets to work every single day. Our finance department gets to stay busy because of the amount of leads that are coming in. It's like that trickle effect where like the phone rings, sales runs the call, sales lands the job, production goes out and does the work, and then all administrative help continue to keep having a job. And when you can kind of paint that picture for everybody, like, look, this is way bigger than just you coming here and gaining a paycheck. Yes, that's your tip at the end of the week for doing such a great job and helping out all of your coworkers and making sure that they're staying fed. Um, but when you can keep it, when it's about other people, and unfortunately, that's what leadership's about. And everybody thinks leadership's about a title, but it's not. Leadership means that you eat last. Leadership means that it's about everybody else and not you. And that's a tough pill to swallow because I think some people use that as like, okay, a crutch for being a martyr. Okay, well,
Mm.
I wouldn't be so fat if you wouldn't eat, or what, if you didn't stress me out all the time. I'm sitting over here trying to take care of you all the time, and it's like I'm not taking care of myself. And I fell into that. It's kind of like, yeah, my health is failing right now because I'm so worried about the business, and which means I'm worried about everybody else under here. But the bottom line is, if you can surround yourself around enough good people that will at least meet you halfway,
Mm.
okay, that that if you're doing what you're expecting them to do yourself, okay, that's the biggest thing. First one here, last one to leave. Nobody in the beginning wants to do that. I think a lot of people that get into business think they're buying back their time. No, that is the furthest from the truth, because in most businesses, before you even turn your first dollar and start seeing profit, it takes 5 years. Overnight success happens in 10 years, 1 decade. Okay, especially in the roofing industry, where you can honestly say, and I'm not saying that there isn't these pop-up companies that hit a good hailstorm and do $8 million in their first year. However,
Mhm.
you won't see them here in the next 4 years, because 80% of us go out of business in the first 4 years. In any business, 90% of us go out of business in the first 10 years in any business. I think people lose the drive. I think they lose the vision. I think they become very content and complacent, and they forget where they came from. And
Mhm.
which means they forget about their people. They forget that their people are their biggest asset. Those are the people that you're going to need to take care of the most, are your people who show up every day, who actually try to beat you to the office every morning and try to stay later than you. And a lot of people listening to this like, well, this work-life balance. Oh, I got to work, I can only work 40 hours or my brain overheats and all. It's like, dude, then don't think you're going to start a business if you're only going to work 40 hours a week, because it never shuts off. Still today, and you had mentioned we have multiple businesses. It never shuts off, but this is my lifestyle. This is who I am today. I work, I do a lot of things all the time, and it never shuts off. Now, could I leave today and go golf? Absolutely, I can do that. I better be able to do that. I better be, after 18 years of being in business, be able to leave whenever I feel like I have to leave or spend time with my family. But I forgot where I really wanted to touch on something in why people get stuck. They get stuck because they don't know how to delegate. They don't know how to culture. Okay. They don't trust people. They're control freaks. They think nobody else can do it as good as them. I did that. I've been there. And the minute I started to let go of things, we started to grow immediately. And then I found out that everybody was really good at everything that I used to do. And that my job, though, and I did 15 different jobs, which I thought were just tasks, actually just created 12 different full-time jobs. And that's when we exploded. When I started to I started to delegate, and I started to listen to my team. I started to listen to my people and take their input, because let's face it, they're on the front lines. They're on it every day. I'm not anymore. So I have to take their feedback. I have to listen. If they need something or something's going wrong, I have to take that into consideration. And I love when people bring me ideas. Because we may go fully with that idea, or it may kick in like my creative, like, oh yeah, let's do it, but let's do it this way. Or, where at least I'm meeting them halfway, because that's kind of the culture that we've created, where it's like, my door, it's closed most of the time because I'm on the phone and I don't want to be real loud out in the hallways, but my door is always open. Metaphorically, everybody knows that my door is always open, and they don't need to just come to me when it's a huge problem. And they're not, I don't think they're afraid to come knock on my door. There might be somebody that might be, but I think that's what it is. You got to learn how to delegate, and you got to learn how to surround yourself around smarter people in certain areas that you're not so smart in. And that will keep you growing for a long time. And then once you get to know them and their families, and then it becomes your responsibility that we got to keep this thing afloat, because they are now my responsibility. And then all of a sudden, because I'm creating so much value in people's lives, I get paid. Somehow the money comes. Somehow the money always shows up when I put my people first.
Yeah, and I'll note that leading people, because you want great people, right? And leading people also sometimes, in my experience, this is a failure, but like has drawn out bad qualities in me as a leader. So I think also, in addition to getting those people and how do I keep them,
right,
is not freaking out on them and learning how to calm down. So that's been a big part of my journey, is learning how to calm down, because I'm intense, I'm driven, and you could say that I could do some pretty cool things with that. But if I scare off some of my best people by being a dick, so like for me, that's been like absolutely critical, is to try to figure out how to be a little bit better of a person, but also like to be gentler with myself. I would say it's how to take care of myself enough so that I don't freak out. Cause that's like it's like my inner child lashing out. Cause it's, man, I worked really hard, and where like, what are you doing? And like, like there's some of that comes up in my brain, and it's like, that's usually when I'm like a little sore. Like I'm not taking care of myself. I'm I'm doing that to myself. You know what I mean? So there is an element of rest with all this. It's hard to work in, dude. And I'm not saying I'm the best at it. I work a little more than 40 hours usually, but like, how do I take a rest when cause I'm not good at it. I'm guessing a lot of entrepreneurs can relate. Like when I'm resting, I'm usually thinking too much.
That's where I get my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I do that. So I don't mind taking a breather and stepping away from it.
Yeah.
and spending quality time with friends or family, or going
Yeah.
out to eat, or mowing lawn, or hitting a couple golf, whatever. That's
Active
where
rest.
yeah,
Active
active
rest.
rest.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's how I rest. I
Yeah.
don't, I build shit. And
Yeah.
but that's where I get my best visions and my most clarity, when I can step out of the building for a minute. Doesn't mean I have to shut it off necessarily. I just have to remove myself from the atmosphere, but also be present. If I'm with my family, I need to be present. But like I said, that's where, if I can just shut this off for a minute, some of our best ideas um come from being able to step away. But let's I got a couple more questions for you
Yeah.
here, and then we'll wrap this up. But what right now is exciting you the most about where the industry is going?
Hmm. It's an interesting question. Like, so in our market, like some roofers fell out.
Okay.
There's like a lot of storm work for a while, and then a couple years drought. So it kind of like cooled the herd. It's kind of a mean way to think about it, but like it really did, and it kind of, there's opportunity in that too.
Yep.
Like when it's gold rush time, like there's some like stuff that pops up that's less than ideal. There's a lot of cockiness, there's a lot of like pride, and there's a little bit of like there's stuff going on with that sometimes it is an issue. What I would say is, when there's lower times, there's opportunity. It's buy low, sell high. It's finding times where there's and if, let's say that there's less work because insurance tightened up in certain ways, like that side of it goes down, there's also an opportunity for more professional companies that are really customer service driven and good with financing and stuff. So there's more opportunity in those types of things. And I'm not like one of those doomsday guys about insurance. I don't know that that's done. I just think it's tighter, and yet to get better with retail, right? So I think there's opportunity in that for people that are very intentional with customer service and are very intentional with their brand, and like the way that there's a little bit like sometimes more marketing involved with retail jobs, because you kind of have to you sell them a little bit more. There's a little bit more wooing that might happen. They might be more likely to go with you because your brand is strong. That's why you guys are busy. That's why there's so much, you guys have a strong brand, and you've gone very hard in that, and you know the community, and you're involved in the community. I think that's cool. I think that's like, there's opportunity for roofers to push in that way. I think that's super positive. And I'm extremely excited to go to market that in that way, and like maybe just small way, like TC Backer, like to be super community involved. We were already like involved with the local charity, and we're already like, we just gave out 120 owls, like stuffed owls at our daycare, which did generate one lead so far. I'm excited to see how that inspection went. But I'm excited about the community-oriented roofing companies that are coming up and growing right now, and this new generation of more modern kind of customer service driven and brand driven roofing companies. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's good. Great response. Great response, man. Whew, so much value in our conversation today. And here's the reality. Okay. The industry's changing, and is changing fast. So I think that the gap between the companies that adapt and the ones that don't is about to get super wide. And AI particularly isn't something to just sit on the sidelines and watch. It's something to start using. And Tim, I've always appreciated, your insights and your thoughts and stuff like that, and sharing, your real insights, and not just talking theory, right? But actually being in the game now, and I look forward to our conversations. And but I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up, unless you want.
Thank you for having me. I mean, like, who knows how I'll do with this roofing company and if it'll go well or whatnot, but I am sharing the entire journey on my social. So if people want to follow, and I'm trying to share what happens, I'm kind of expecting, so if I flop, it's going to be bad, because I'm kind of expecting to be successful, and I'm sharing everything I'm learning along the way, including failures. Like, I just did a jingle contest, and got 0 entries. So I'll share all that stuff along the way and when it's hard and stuff like that. But I just hope some people get some value out of that. And if I do flop entirely, then at least it will be an interesting story, I
I
think.
love it, man. I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming on. And if anyone listening, don't just listen to this, act on it. Everything that Tim has mentioned, you know, and if you got value out of this episode, share it with someone in the trades. Drop us a review, drop us a like, share this out to all your friends, and we'll see you next week on episode 326 of Behind the ToolBelt. You guys have a great rest of your week.
Thanks to our sponsors, TC Backer Construction, Hook Roofing Marketing, Roofle, and Project Mapit. And thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We are streaming on all major platforms. See you next week for another episode.